Hello, this is Eric Anderson, principal of Wenatchee High School, and thank you for joining us on our updated Bell Schedule Committee presentation. We're going to start with just an agenda for this evening. We're going to review some information that we went over last time, and I think also it'd be a good idea to review kind of where we are right now in our Bell schedule so we understand a little bit of kind of where we're coming from with extended learning times. We're also going to address previous questions. So at our meeting in September, a number of questions came up. We're going to address many of those in this presentation. And then we're also going to dive deeper into our hybrid 4-period Bell schedule. So you kind of get more detail as to the conversations we've been having to address many of the questions that did come up at our previous meeting. And in conjunction with parent and student feedback, some of the things that we've done to really kind of tweak some things because our Bell schedule does not look like a 4-period or 4x4 block schedule. It's really more of a hybrid scenario. So we'll get into that. And then any questions that you may have, you'll get an opportunity to email those questions to me at the end. So my email address will be at the end of this presentation. So let's jump right in and talk a little bit about where we currently are in our Bell schedule. So right now you'll see this is our Bell schedule. We are on what we call the modified 6-period schedule. And again, this is a schedule where students meet with their classes 4 days per week. So you can see on the schedule that how we run our schedules, all classes meet, so all 6 periods meet on Monday. All 6 periods meet on Friday. But on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, only 4 periods meet. So really when we kind of look at that, we are running a 4-period block schedule on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in our current schedule. So if you look at the instructional minutes themselves, again, because we run all classes on Monday, we have 42 minutes of instructional time on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, again, classes are only meeting 2 of those 3 days, but those classes will run at 85 minutes during those block times. And then on Friday is a pretty much straight 6-period day, classes running at 55 minutes per instructional class. So if you look at it as well, when we start to break those numbers down in our current schedule in 6 classes, those classes meet for about 160 instructional hours per class. And if you multiply that out times the 6 classes that they're taking over the course of a year, you're now looking at 961 instructional hours per school year based on our current modified 6-period Bell schedule that we run this year. So as we look at the proposed block schedule, and again, this is just a draft of what it could look like, all of our classes will meet 5 days per week. So all of those courses in this particular scenario, in a straight block scenario, will meet 5 days per week. And again, you can kind of look at the minute breakdown on that. Again, really when you look at Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this schedule, it's identical to what it was in our current schedule. Friday now also becomes a block schedule day, and Monday we extend out instead of 42 minutes in our current schedule, we are only running 4 periods on that Monday. Therefore, those periods branch out to 65 minutes during that time frame. So again, this is 4 periods per day, and those no more than 4 per day, and it would run every single day. Those classes would run like they're shown here. If you take a look at that, the instructional minutes or hours, shall we say, in this scenario, each class has 121.5 instructional hours associated with it, but now we're taking 8 courses over the time span of an entire year. So when we take 8 classes times 121.5 instructional hours, the entire year has 972 instructional hours in it with all classes included in that. So you might be wondering or questioning, well, I'm not really sure why, we have differences between the 2 schedules. And as you look at this schedule, the 972 instructional hours is actually more for an entire year than our previous schedule. As I flip back here, the previous schedule or our current schedule has 961 instructional hours in it. And the reason there's the difference between the 2 is because in our current schedule, we just have more passing time built into the schedule. So in this particular schedule, there are fewer passing times. Therefore, total instructional hours actually increase. But as noted before, the per class time or per class instructional hours decreases because we have more courses through the course of the entire school year. So kind of just giving you an understanding of a comparison between the two, what we're looking at right now. Next thing I wanted to talk about was we think it's really important that we point out that learning happens in every class. So again, not just core content area, but every class. As we look at electives, and I wanted to be very clear, this is not all of our electives. I put a sampling on this particular page, but really, as we take a look at this, all of these courses do a great job of extending our students' ability in reading, writing, math, science, and critical thinking skills. And they do it in a slightly different way. It's very much in an applied format as we look at these courses. And so again, I just want to point out that every time a student is in a class, learning is happening in that class in a variety of different ways, but also covering very much of what we would consider foundational or core content in many of our elective classes as well. So a question that had come up at our previous meeting was around how does the block schedule itself affect test scores? And we started to take a look, specifically looking at SAT scores and AP scores. And when we take a look at this is, and again, we've kind of pulled some of Wayzata High School was the information we had talked about in September. And I know there was some concerns around their demographics as compared to our demographics. And so as we look at this is not a perfect comparison by any means, but you'll notice that our diversity level in terms of 49% of our students are of a diverse nature, and 56% of our students are financially disadvantaged. And you start to look down at Roseville School District, which is 5 high schools, and their district itself has 61% of their students that fall into that diversity category, and 28% are financially disadvantaged. And then Virginia Beach School District, 13 high schools, so a very large system, and 49% of their students are in a diversity format, and then 37% are financially disadvantaged. So again, this is not perfect, and I'm not going to say this is a perfect comparison because I don't think there is a perfect comparison to us. But these two school districts run a 4-period block system, and as we look at their test scores as compared to ours, and I shared this in September, we truly believe it's about the instruction that happens inside of our courses that really makes the difference. The schedule itself does not drive an end result, and I believe, as we can see here, the test results that they're seeing at Roseville and Virginia Beach are very similar to ours. And so we don't believe that a bell schedule dictates performance. So here is an example of that as you're taking a look at that. That falls true as well as we look at AP scores. So again, looking at the same information. Again, these are larger districts with 5 high schools and 13 high schools respectively. But you can see that there are a large number of AP exams taken in both of these scenarios. And both of them have pass rates at near us or above us in terms of their pass rate on the AP exams as compared to Wenatchee High School. So again, these two systems are running in a block schedule, and here is an example of their performance running in that schedule. So just so that everyone can take a look at that. Next, we'll talk a little bit about staff professional development. I mean, we believe this is extremely important in really anything that we do. It really doesn't matter if we're in a block scenario or if we are in a different bell schedule scenario. Professional development for our staff is critical. And as we look at this coming year, we are looking at Marcia Tate, who is going to be here on December 2nd, who works heavily with engagement strategies. And then we have a book study set up for each one of our departments. Some are very content specific. So you can see we have a book study on teaching math in the block, teaching science in the block, teaching English in the block, teaching foreign language in the block. And then we have a more generic book about teaching or tools for teaching in the block itself, where other departments are going to be running that book study. So we have that set up. And then we have been working with, in conversations with the University of Washington, for the Center of Educational Leadership, and they conduct what are called learning labs, and that's really about very hands-on professional development in small groups, usually done by departments, And so we're having conversations with them right now to bring them in and offer those learning labs in specific content areas, and again, around teaching and extended learning times. So, and the last thing is our own building goal. We have had engagement strategies as part of that. So we do our own internal professional development, quite a bit of it, that our teachers help drive. And with that said, we're always following or looking at what our current building goal is. And again, engagement strategies are critical in any teaching scenario. And our teachers continue to work and improve within those areas. So next, let's kind of dive deeper into what we're calling a hybrid 4-period block foundation. As you may remember from the example in September, we had basically a 2-semester system, and really based on the feedback from parents and from students and the need to make sure that we have some of our elective courses running in a year-long format, we've kind of created this system that is a hybrid of a traditional 4x4 system and a 4x8 system, which allows an A-B rotation all year long. So if you look at this in terms of a foundation, you can see that in Block 1 and Block 4, courses that are offered at that particular time are in a semester block format. They would take the course in semester 1, they would have a new course in semester 2. If you look at blocks 2 and block 3, those courses in that time frame have the ability to go either or. Those courses could be offered in a semester block, or they could be offered in an A-B rotation. And an A-B rotation is the ability to have 2 courses enrolled in 2 courses at the same time, but you attend them every other day. So you would go to a course on an A day, and then you'd rotate to the separate course on a B day. And those courses would rotate all year long. So you'd be enrolled in both of them, taking them every other day from the start of the school year to the end of the school year. And we believe this really allows for a lot of flexibility for students. They can be enrolled in between 4 and 6 courses at a time, but they would only be taking or attending 4 classes every day. So that format wouldn't change in terms of they would still be taking 4 classes every day, but because these 2 in block 2 and block 3 would rotate, they could be enrolled into as many as 6 courses at a time. And here are some examples of what that would look like. So in this scenario, a student is choosing classes that are just in a format that are running in a 4x4 block scenario. So they are choosing courses that would be run just on the block. So they would have, in first semester in this example, they would be in U.S. History, Algebra 2, Horticulture Science, and Debate and Speech, all during first semester. And then at semester they would shift, and in second semester, that student would be in Junior American Literature, Ceramics, Advanced Horticulture Science, and Psychology. So you can see in terms of the entire year, they're still getting 8 full credits in the entire year. They're taking 4 in the first semester and 4 in the second semester. So they would have that choice to be in this type of format, or they could expand out into a 5th class or a 6th class of enrollment. So here is an example of a student who chose courses that had one of the blocks in an A-B rotation. So as you can see this, the total number of credits for all of these still is the same. In an entire year, it would be an 8-credit system. However, and it would still be 4 credits in the first semester, 4 in the second, you would just be receiving a half a credit for whatever course A is and half a credit for whatever course B is per credit, so that the total over the year would still be a full credit for each of those as we went the year long in the A-B rotation. So as you look at the example down below, this particular student would be in Block 1, first semester, they would be in biology. Block 2, they would rotate every other day between Intro to Business, one of our marketing classes, and band. So they would rotate every other day between the 2 of those. And then again, as we go into Block 3, first semester, they might be in PE, and then Algebra 2 to finish the day. And then at semester, all of those semester classes would change. So as we look at semester 2, they would be in pre-AP freshman English. Block 2 would still be rotating because it goes all year long. So they would be in Intro to Business and band every other day through the entire semester 2. And then they would be in Health and then in Spanish 1. So that is an example of what it would look like for a student who chose to be enrolled in 5 classes at a time instead of 4. And then the last example would be a student who chooses to have both of those blocks in an A-B rotation. So this is kind of maximizing the number of courses they would be enrolled in. Keep in mind again that they would still only be attending 4 classes per day, but they would be enrolled in 6 courses at the same time. Because in this example, again down below, they would have AP Language in Block 1. They would be rotating every other day between AP Human Geography and Sports Medicine in Block 2. And then in Block 3, they would rotate every other day between AP Stats and Journalism. And then in Block 4, first semester, they would be in AP Physics. So you can see that the 2 middle blocks would be rotating all year long, and then Block 1 and Block 4 would switch at semester. And in this case, they would be taking marketing, and then they would be taking a ceramics class in Block 4. So this really, when we look at these options, we really believe that this maximizes choices for students. It meets the needs of our elective classes that want to run in an AB format or an all-year format. And so we believe that it would be very advantageous for students to choose how they want to format their schedules. So the next question is, well, what kind of classes are we looking at in an AB rotation? And we have them kind of broke down by grade level as to what they would look like, and we are still working on this, but here's where we're at right now with some potential courses. You can see on the freshman level, many if not all of our music courses are offered on an AB rotation, as well as AVID. We have pre-AP English 9, as well as English 9. We have PE and Health, an Intro to Business course, Advanced Mariachi, Intermediate Mariachi, and an academic support class. And that's for students who maybe are needing a little bit of support or needing some help in something, and they're pushing themselves a little bit, and they want to be in an academic support class. So that's something that they would have availability to as well in an AB rotation. As we look at 10th grade, it would really be all of those elective courses that are offered in the 9th grade as well. Obviously nothing that would be grade specific, so 9th grade English wouldn't be available to the 10th grade in AB rotation, but any and all elective classes would be. So as we take a look at these these become our upper level foreign language classes, so Spanish 3, French 3, German 3, as well as our sophomore AP World History class, Advanced Journalism, Yearbook, Pre-Calculus, Sports Medicine, Pre-AP English 10, and English 10. So again, it creates a number of offerings that allow students to be in that AB rotation. So if they wanted to be in music and sports medicine, it gives them that availability to do both of those in the same block time. And then again, for our 11th and 12th graders, this is then again, all the electives that were offered at 9th and 10th grade. But then we start to add again our upper level Spanish, French, and German classes, a number of our AP courses, our upper level sports medicine courses, and a potential AP support class for students who wish to be in an AP class and want to push themselves a little bit, but feel like, hey, I need a little something maybe to help me. That would be a great option for them as well. So you can see a large variety of courses that potentially could be offered in that AB rotation, giving students the maximum amount of choice within this schedule. I also think it's important, we talked about this quite a bit, but in terms of making sure everybody understands the availability of courses outside of our current schedule. We do offer a number of zero-hour classes. So you can see business law and mock trial runs in the morning before school. We have a 0-hour PE. We offer advanced placement language, advanced placement literature, pre-calculus, jazz ensemble, vocal jazz. And we are looking to expand that potential offering as well for students who choose to come in before our normal bell schedule to again just continue to create more options for students. We also have online classes. So right now we offer a U.S. History, a World Studies, Contemporary World Problems or CWP class, a PE, a Health, and a Biology. So again, we offer a number of things that students can take online as well. So if they chose an online class and wanted to be in maybe an academic support class to help work on some of those things, that would be a potential as well. And then we offer directed study, and this is really, again, for students who want to explore or push themselves beyond what we're offering during the school day. There may be an advanced level music course that we don't offer, but they want to have that opportunity, and our teachers work with those students around that. So we have a large number of courses that are offered in that respect, and that's done through approval, working with the teacher and our directed study coordinator. So again, just another opportunity for students to have variation and choice in their program. We also have worked with, how do we add supports when we look at our schedule and we look at the fact that we have now 8 available courses through a year. Where are some areas that we can start looking at support systems? And as we look at this, we are interested in offering an academic support class, AP tutorials or an AP support class, a math and science support class. Again, we talked about in September, but creating that algebra course that will run in a year-long format. So really setting a foundation for that mathematics. And then an ACT, SAT prep course. This is something that we're working with Gear Up on. And it looks like we're going to have that ready to go for next year, which is exciting. And then also offering an AP evening study sessions. Obviously, that particular piece would not be for credit, but it is something that we would encourage students to access in terms of getting them ready for those AP exams in the springtime. So these are just some different areas that we have been talking about, adding support systems into a schedule that allows for the additional availability. And the last thing around this that I'd like to talk is our teachers have been very creative right now about looking at how do we expand our current offerings, how do we explore different offerings, and we would love to hear back from our parents what kind of offerings you would like to see us offer here at Wenatchee High School. We've created a new email address so that you can send it directly to that, and then it populates into one document for us. But we really would like to hear from you, knowing that we have additional opportunities in this system. We want to hear from you, as we've also asked for students' feedback around this as well, and asking them what kind of courses they would like to see us add in the future as well. So please take advantage of that. Tell us what your thoughts are around that and give us some feedback. And then the last thing is any questions that you may have around this presentation or anything else around the Bell schedule, please feel free to email me. I know how important time is, so feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call here at the high school, and I'd be happy to answer those questions for you. And that does it for this updated presentation. And I appreciate your willingness to listen, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you and have a great day.